guys, welcome back to AJ versus Narc. My name's Lottie and I'm here to share my experiences being in a custody battle with a narc, hoping that my experience can help you in some way. Disclaimer, this is not legal advice. I am not a solicitor or a lawyer, simply an average Joe. That being said, if you haven't already, I really hope you like, subscribe, and let's just get right into it. So, you've decided to take your narc to court. On a serious note, good on you. That can't have been an easy decision. But before you go and file any paperwork or application, you might want to consider gathering some evidence first if you haven't already done so. In fact, before we even get to the gathering evidence stage, let's take it right back to basics. What is it that you're hoping to achieve? And is it feasible? And when I say that, I'll give an example. Me, I really wanted to have sole ownership of my daughter's hair. My daughter also has afro hair like mine, beautiful hair. Her hair is actually softer than mine, but it needs particular care. And at the best of times, usually some dads find it difficult. There's no harm in that. There's nothing wrong with that. My one, however, became aware that I had a thing about my daughter's hair. And when I say I have a thing, like, I will not say I'm the best at doing hair. Definitely not. There are definite wonky partings. Like, it's not that deep. But detangling, and keeping it looking presentable, the basics, the absolute basics is a must. And I can even feel myself slightly justifying myself, because in certain exchanges between myself and the narc, he'd be trying to tell me that, hey, you're unreasonable, man. Why do you want her hair just to have no knots? Knots okay, relax. It's okay to wash her hair and not condition it and just leave it out, hair to the wind, to come back shrunken and knotted. Yes, that happened. So I'm justifying slightly, but anyway, I definitely wanted to have ownership or the ability to manage my daughter's hair, and for it to say in the court order for the ex not to touch it in any way, shape or form. And I even tried to gather evidence for it, but yeah, that didn't happen. And I've come to see that that is not a realistic expectation. What I learned is that I need to come up with hairstyles that are not worth it for the narc to try and mess with. It's not worth the narcissistic supply to take out loads of tiny little plaits to take and mess up and then send it back knotted. Nah, he'll get his supply somewhere else or by some other means. So that's what I learned. And another example that I never tried, I could have said, yeah, I want full custody. I want my daughter to be with me all the time and the odd weekend with him. But considering we had already an informal shared care, I would have had to have something really strong and really good to be able to justify that. So again, but in recent times, I am reconsidering whether I can gather enough evidence to show that my daughter should spend slightly more time again with me, more like a 70-30 as opposed to a 60-40 residency. But I know that it's going to be tough, and it's going to take time, and it may not be possible at this stage, if at all. So yes. So that being said, once you've worked out what it is that you really want and whether it's feasible, then you need to set about gathering evidence. Now, in my experience, one of the things that I definitely did, as I mentioned before in another video, is minimize that communication. I don't even like phone calls. I definitely do not like chatting to you, and there's no form of recording it at all, which is why I love email. And I actually love email as opposed to texts, because texts can be very back and forth. I don't want to back and forth with you. I don't want to talk to you, but I have to sometimes. So we'll do that in email. You've got the date, you've got the timestamp, you've got the full trail. You know, you can't edit out texts, or, you know, it's there for everybody to see. So keep those email conversations, and just remember as you're emailing that your emails are just as much on show as his. So keep it professional. Don't get drawn into the little petty arguments. You know, keep it on topic. If it's about holidays, if it's about pickup, if it's about anything that really needs to be discussed, keep it on that. But yeah, get them emails, get it written. I have also taken pictures. I've done video recordings when I was trying to show the difference between drop off and pick up with my daughter. I wanted to show how I brought her to the dad and how she came back to me. And I did that for a while. Although, as I said, that in itself wasn't very successful. It wasn't considered. But I still did it, and I definitely don't regret it. And I think it's better to collect more evidence than need be. Some of your evidence you may not even present, but it may just help you. So I have previously and even recently, because I am having phone conversations with my daughter at the moment, I'm recording them. And I'm pretty sure that Narc, in fact, he has told me he's recording them. So everyone's recording the conversations, but sometimes it's just to help you see how you sound. On you know, this may not be something I will ever present or put in as evidence, but I have been accused of, you know, making my daughter feel bad in calls, or, you know, my tone of voice is harsh or dismissive. And because of our previous dynamics, I'm actually inclined to think, oh, maybe. And because, you know I'm not perfect, and I try, like, if I've done something to my daughter that I've been able to see, oh yeah, maybe that was a bit harsh, or maybe, you know, I can understand how that hurt my daughter's feelings, I have no problems apologizing. I think it's really important for my daughter to see that I can do that. I'm not, because I'm mum, I'm never wrong. Yes, I make mistakes, but it's that humility that a narc can play on and can be saying, yeah, look, you said this. So sometimes those recordings, I play them back and I'm like, no, I sounded absolutely fine. I sounded sane. I sounded reasonable. I sounded engaged, and it puts me at ease. And then at other points, I may be able to just refer to them. So again, if something particularly concerning has come out of a conversation that I've recorded, I can then send an email and log it, and then it becomes evidence. So if the court says, oh, you said here your daughter did this or this happened, prove it. Okay, no problem. I've got the voice recording to show. So it's having that, but again, it's having that piece of evidence to refer if need be. So yeah, so emails, pictures, videos, definitely recordings if you can. Again, this is not legal advice, so you'd need to check again, I guess, what state you're in or what laws are in your place of residence, because I know there are some places that don't allow you to record without letting the other person know. Again, for me, if I was in that state, I would definitely, I'm quite happy to let Narc know that I'm recording. It might keep him on his toes and they still inevitably slip up, so it's great. It is really good when you can catch them out and just gather those evidence and just chill. And it's hard because when you see something, you just want to pounce on it right then, but you have to just be like, cool, logged, filed, and ready for your application. And that being said, like, gathering evidence is time consuming, and it's, I want to say, jarring. I don't know if those non-British people understand, but it is frustrating because it's monotonous. Like, I've got the spreadsheets logging, like, a call, what was said, what was happened and what my analysis is. Who wants to do that? I ain't getting paid. But it really will pay off in the future if you do it now as well, as opposed to not gathering any evidence and then you've got to go and try and find it. And that's when you're going to struggle. So, yeah, it's painful, but always think that long term. Think long term, yes. I'm putting things in place so that when I'm ready to file my application, I can say, yes, I want this because I have this evidence that shows that this is not in the best interest of my children or my child. And you will be one step closer to making your requests or your desires when it comes to your children and safeguarding them. So I hope that answers some questions about gathering evidence, you know, how to do it, why to do it. And please, again, feel free, put some comments in below. Let me know what kind of evidence you've gathered, and might help me in my upcoming court hearing.